Greetings, Yoctograms of YouTube. Got some red hot news for you. Yours truly just came back after seeing Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in theaters. And I gotta say, I didn't think they could top the first one, but they did! Unlike last time where there was one joke that really unsettled me. No, every joke here nailed a laugh. All the actors were on point. The character development for the first one was carried over. And I just. It was just so many shout outs to the old school Sonic games, the adventure games, and the series as a whole, the franchise as a whole. And so much love, respect, and passion poured into this. Between the great comedy, the incredible action, the the amazing shoutouts, and the original characters, the Wachowskis, Stone, like I just they all feel like they belong in this film. They also brought I kind of suspected they were this, but they also brought in Gunn and Guardians of the Nation to be precise, but spoilers for the post-credit scene, but they're bringing in Shadow. Now I've only really got two concerns regarding what would happen after this movie. And that's if and that's how they handle Shadow and what to do about Robotnik slash Eggman. Because apparently, well, then again, I only know of two instances of Jim Carrey doing a sequel: Zoolander 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Because in his mind, he, like, apparently other actors has a thing about doing sequels and playing the exact same character twice. I think the reason he did Zoolander was because they decided to have the gap between the two movies also be the amount of time that lapsed between the two films. So he felt like he was enough time passed that he wasn't the same person anymore. And I guess after Robotnik spent enough time in Mushroom Hill to really lose his marbles, he felt that Eggman was different enough. But I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I wouldn't be surprised either way if they bring back Eggman and Jim Carrey reprises the role. They bring back Eggman and somebody else does it, which, dude, whoever does that is going to have one heck of a tough act to follow if that's what happens. Or if they just don't have Eggman at all. And they spend more time on Eggman's ancestor, Gerald Robotnik. Now that would be interesting. But considering that Jim Carrey might have been the only person who got upset about them changing Sonic's original design in the first movie, I actually see it more as a kind of a point. Don't get me wrong, it's a great thing they changed the design, but I don't think you get that defensive about something like that if you aren't really, really invested in the project. And he clearly was invested. He was having a blast. So, if Jim Carrey comes back, I think it'll be because he's having too much fun. And us as the audience will too. But, so many great jokes, great character development, even further beyond, like, with these characters. And Knuckles, like, I'd read somewhere that the voice actor for Knuckles wanted to take Knuckles back to his quote-unquote badass roots rather than his current dumbass roots. Sorry for the language, but those were apparently the voice actor's words, not mine. And he delivers. Knuckles is still naive, and he's not the best judge of character. But he is a genuine threat as well as a valuable ally. And the fact they brought in Patrick Comic, the other echidnas, like, they're not just bringing in for the games. Like, dude, like, I think they're also taking some cues from some of the other materials too. Like, it was, I was not expecting a shout out to, like, I think Marble Zone. I love the shout out to Ice Cap, Mystic Ruins, Angel Island, and Tails was incredible here. Like, I haven't seen him really be that much of a combat person since Sonic Battle, which was pretty cool to see. I don't know what else could happen after this point, but seeing what they did with Knuckles, seeing makes me wonder. Like, I also the other thing I'm nervous about is bringing Shadow into the game this early, because Shadow is not an easy character to get right. Now, make no mistake, I unironically love Shadow the Hedgehog. I think Shadow, out of the three campaigns between Sonic, Shadow, and Silver in Sonic 06, Shadow had honestly the stronger story, considering all the development he's been through, as well as the fact that, well, he was working off Methyllus, who was definitely one of the best villains in the series, in my opinion. Like, not counting Eggman, because, I mean, I am the Eggman. That's what I am. I am the Eggman. Got the master plan. Like, seriously. He's just remarkable to me. Like, but anyway, but I also have read that, look, I don't know anything really about the actual storylines of the Sonic comics. Not the original iteration, not the one that was the longest runner up until some guy named Ken Penders kind of screwed things over in a lot of ways, and not the current iteration. But I have heard that, at least as far as the current iteration, the writer is hesitant to include Shadow that much, mostly due to a lot of restrictions Sega has placed on him. And he feels kind of constrained by them, which I think apparently the fan base shares of those who read the comics. Like I said, this is just going what I know. I don't have. I would love to read any of the Sonic comics from any generation, but I wouldn't know where to start. Do I start from the beginning? Are there select issues that I should read from each thing? If you guys know, like any fans of the comics who actually do know, and can point me in the right direction of where I should start as someone who's fairly familiar with the games and loves them and would like to try the comics but wouldn't know where to start, just give me some tips. Like, but yeah, there was nothing like the kidnapping joke from the first. Every joke, really, was from me. And the like, I can't get over how it. When we went to see it at 10 p.m., there were only 3 people in the theater: myself and 2 of my friends. One of whom was all in red. I'm primarily in blue, and the other guy was primarily in black. So basically, we had Sonic, Knuckles, and Shadow watching the film. And I was probably the only guy who was intentional. But dang. Because of that, I could, there was no one else in the film. I didn't have to worry about waking anyone up, bugging anybody. I was rocking in my seat. I was screaming with joy, cheering, laughing, getting constant high fives from my friends. I was ecstatic. Like, it wasn't quite to the same level. But the last time I really remember letting loose, like that kind of loose, like letting the excitement let my take over my body like that, and just go nuts like that. It was when I rediscovered Outlaw Star in middle school, and found the DVDs online. I Back then I was visiting my grandma, and I was in her tiny little guest room that also doubled as her office. I was so happy at that time. I I don't know why my mom and grandma didn't barge in on me, because I was jumping for joy, not only on the bed, but I was jumping into the wall. Not to the point that I hurt myself, but I was bouncing like a crazy jumping beat. I had so much happy energy, and I had to get it out, verbally, verbally and physically. And I was doing something similar at the movie tonight. Like these films, with the first one, and this one, it's clear that these people, I can't, I don't know if Jim Carrey actually knows all that much about the source material when it comes to Sonic. But it's clear so many of these people do. They are having a blast. They are doing all these great references, not only to the franchise, but some pretty fun pop culture stuff. And also seeing how they handled the Master Emerald, the Chaos Emerald, and Supersonic. Like they do things differently, but they're still having fun with them. Like they're still respecting the source material, well, doing their own little spin on it, and I can appreciate that. I don't know who else they might bring in addition to Shadow, because the thing I love is the films don't take themselves too seriously. They have fun, and they actually do know when to take itself seriously. Like if you're just all serious all the time, you're gonna get the stuff that people have mocked Shadow the Hedgehog for. But if you're nothing but utterly ridiculous, you're gonna get some of the criticisms that some of the earlier Sonic stuff has gotten too. Especially the first Sonic cartoon, which I love, and I love how crazy, but it's not for everyone. Like you can strike a balance. Speed, smart, and power. And I just did that wrong. Speed, power, smart. Like, and that becomes a big thing here. Like, I love this. I so want to see what this same group can do with a third movie. I don't know how many movies they could make. I think three might be a good one to go out on, because, well, trilogies are usually a good thing, and I just, especially if they're bringing in Shadow, I'd actually, that could mean the Bio Lizard, or heck, even Black Doom. Like, that would be nuts. See how they'd handle that. The Black Arms. Like I've had so much fun quoting Black Doom. Like, I actually love his guttural growl. Like, I think he's a fun villain. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, considering how much of a monster he is. But I just, it also make the whole thing with Maria, like, that would be fascinating to see how they handled that. But I needed this film. Any doubts anybody, but the trailers were already pretty fun, but they were great trailers that still managed to, like, they changed the order of certain lines, the context of certain things, and how they handled. Like they even managed to hide the fact that when they're on the first version on the first tornado, like not I didn't see Knuckles at all on that plane in the early trail in the trailers, but he was on that plane in this one. Wow, like it's late and I should be exhausted. In fact, I am still tired, but at the same time, I've got all this insane energy in me. Like it's like it's like I'm fused with the master. Yes, someone's like the chaotic energy in me is going wild. I I need to play a Sonic game. I don't know which. Maybe I'll play Adventure 2 because that is one of my favorites. I just I need to do something because I am just too happy. Too too happy right now. These films have been so much fun. And if the next one is just as solid as this one has been, or somehow manages to top this film, which I don't know how they could, but they've done it here. I I'm ecstatic. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Thank you. Thank you for doing this. For treating these characters with such love and respect. I Sonic the first video games I ever learned to play were on my cousin's Sega Genesis and NES. I have some of the fondest memories of playing as Tails while he's playing as Sonic. Thank you. I know some people have derided Sonic because he's had a long, hard road after the jump to 3D. I've not beaten Lost World. I've never beaten 06. I'm not that far into Black Knight. And I know Heroes and the I've played, but I have loved Heroes. I've enjoyed the Wii version of Sonic Unleashed. I love Generations. I love Adventure 2 Battle. I enjoy adventure. Sonic is a big part of my my youth, of the time I spent growing up. And I love the Sonic the Hedgehog OVA completely unironically. I think it's a really fun. Has some of the worst voice acting ever from an acting perspective, but just going like, why does everyone sound like they have colds? But I enjoy it. But this is quality. This is love. This is respect. This this is the kind of things that should have gone into something like the Super Mario Bros. Movie. This is what should go into the new one. Whenever Nintendo finally shows what these films are even going to look like. Because I don't think because if Nintendo doesn't do something soon, it's gonna be like what Marvel's done to DC as far as the films go. Like, yes, all the Marvel movies aren't perfect, but they have a far better track record than the DC movies, which I've enjoyed a fair amount of. Like, I've enjoyed Wonder Woman, I've enjoyed Aquaman, I've enjoyed Shazam, I've enjoyed the Batman, but they've had some struggles. Let's make no mistake. I even enjoyed the first version, just like, but at some point, Nintendo's gonna have to do something because they're already behind Sega when it comes to how to treat their fans. They're way behind when it comes to how to make a film adaptation of their properties. Sega may not be making consoles anymore, and they may be struggling in a lot of ways. But there's a reason I love watching like Ant Dude cover Sonic fan games. Why I love these films. Because say what you will about the quality of the actual games, or whether or not they're even for you, but there's a reason that people love these characters. There's a reason that they've clicked with so many people. And these people want to see these characters done well, done right. So thank you. Thank you so much for this film. I don't really have anything else to say. So, goodbye. Until next time.